The Laughing Council. The Grand Council chamber of Veltrax 9 was filled with voices. Dozens of alien species, some tall and slim, others small and armored, spoke in their strange languages. But one thing was clear through the laughter and mocking. Tones. They were talking about Earth. On the big display in the middle of the chamber floated the image of a human colony ship, slowly pushing through the blackness of space. Its design looked simple, rough compared to the sleek vessels of the other races. The ambassador from Earth stood alone near the edge of the room, silent. No one gave him respect. "They still use combustion in some of their old vehicles," one alien shouted. "They only joined the galactic network 50 years ago." "Children, really?" another added. The room laughed again. The human ambassador didn't respond. He only listened. His uniform was neat but plain. His eyes didn't blink much. And though his heart beat fast, his face stayed calm. The insults didn't bother him now. He'd heard them 1,000 times in every meeting, every corner of the galaxy. Primitive. The word echoed again. But things were about to change. Back on Earth, in a secure underground base beneath the Andes, a group of scientists and historians had just made a discovery that would shock the stars. It had started with strange ruins found on a distant moon orbiting a gas giant in a dead system. The moon had no atmosphere, no life. Yet under layers of rock and ice they found buildings, ancient ones, made from stone that didn't match anything local. The carvings on the walls were worn, but one symbol appeared again and again, a map of stars. And at the center of that map was Earth. Even stranger was the language. The ruins used symbols that matched ancient scripts found in Earth's oldest sites, places that even humans barely understood. Panic turned into wonder. Then came the hard part, proof. The team used dating technology from multiple civilizations. Results came back again and again with the same conclusion. The ruins were not just old. They were older than any known civilization. Millions of years old. The pattern was clear. Whoever built these structures had known Earth. More than that, they had come from Earth. That news hadn't reached the council yet. In the chamber, another alien, tall with 4 arms and scales, walked up to the ambassador. "You humans should stick to growing food and fixing machines," he said. "This galaxy isn't for you?" "Not really." The ambassador slowly turned to face him. "Maybe," he said calmly. "But sometimes the ones at the bottom are only sleeping." "What's that supposed to mean?" The alien laughed. The ambassador didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a small device from his pocket and tapped it once. A blue hologram filled the air above the center of the chamber. It showed images of the ruins, the carvings, the symbols, and the star map with Earth glowing at its center. The room grew quiet. The laughter stopped. "This data," the ambassador said, voice firm but level, "was confirmed by neutral science stations. These ruins are not just older than any galactic culture. They are older than most of your planet's surfaces." A whisper passed through the council. "They carry Earth's symbols, Earth's language, Earth's path through the stars." Another voice shouted from the back, "Fake!" But the ambassador shook his head. "You're welcome to verify it. Full access to all scans, no edits." The silence grew heavier. "The truth is simple," he continued. "We're not new. We're old. Maybe the oldest." A representative from a high-ranking species leaned forward. "You expect us to believe humans were first, that we forgot you?" The ambassador smiled now just a little. "You didn't forget us. You never knew us. We left the stars long before. Your species took its first steps." All eyes were on him now, not laughing, not mocking, just staring. Outside, far from the chamber, dozens of ancient signals, buried and forgotten across the galaxy, began to stir. Earth had reawakened something very, very old. Echoes from the past. The council chamber stayed quiet long after the ambassador left. No one dared to speak. The old joke, primitive humans, was now stuck in every alien's throat. Earth, the discovery team worked day and night. The data from the ruins wasn't just symbolic. Hidden deep inside one of the stone pillars was a device, small and black, smooth like glass. It gave off no energy. It didn't respond to scans. It looked dead, until it wasn't. One night, a technician brushing off dust touched the surface. The device lit up with golden lines. It floated into the air and began to hum, a soft, ancient sound like a whisper in the wind. Then came the shock. It started showing images. Not just random images, but memories. Pictures of cities larger than anything modern Earth had. Towers made of metal and light. Skies filled with giant ships. Human ships. There were no aliens in these visions. No other species. Only humans. But these humans were different. Taller, more advanced. They moved like they were born with purpose. One scene showed a star exploding and humans calmly moving a planet out of danger using a gravity engine. And then, silence. The visions ended with fire, cities burning, skies turning red. A single human voice echoed from the device in an old, long-lost Earth dialect. "We leave now. Let them rise. One day, we'll return." The team stared at each other. These weren't just ancestors, they were something greater. Something the galaxy had forgotten, or maybe never knew. Back in the stars, things were changing fast. A group of historians on a planet called Brenar 6 matched the symbols to ruins on their own moon. Ruins they had believed were just old myths. The carvings matched Earth symbols exactly. They had been told those ruins were built by gods. Now they knew better. Across the galaxy, reports came in. Ancient places on different planets had signs of the same architecture, same tools, same star maps. The truth couldn't be ignored. The galaxy had not just mocked humanity, it had forgotten that it was built on their bones. Some species reacted with fear, others with awe. But one group, the rulers of the massive Sulari Dominion, were angry. They refused to believe it. "This is human trickery," one of their warlords roared. "They planted the ruins. This is a game." They ordered their ships to head for Earth's system, not to attack yet, but to investigate. Thousands of warships began moving toward the Sol system, pretending to look for truth, but ready for battle. Earth watched them come. The ambassador sent one message to the council. "You laughed at our past. Let's see how you handle our return." Then he sent another signal, a deep frequency call into the black void, using the pattern from the old device. For hours, nothing happened. Then, all at once, ancient satellites around dozens of worlds activated. Hidden machines long buried under alien soil woke up. A signal passed from one to the next, faster than light, and deep in the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Neptune, a massive object began to move. It had been frozen in ice for eons. Now it was rising. Not a ship, a gate. And through that gate, something was coming. The gate opens. The object beyond Neptune broke free from its icy prison with a low, deep rumble no one could hear, but every sensor across the system detected it. Over 50 kilometers wide, the structure spun slowly, rings unlocking from one another like gears turning after a million years of sleep. It was not alien. It was human-made. The fleet from the Sulari Dominion had just reached the edge of the solar system. From their flagship, the commander stared at the massive structure through a magnified view. "What is that?" he asked, voice tight. No one answered. No known species had the tech to build something so large and hide it. Inside Earth's top command bunker, the ambassador stood with a group of scientists and generals watching the same thing. No one was panicking. In fact, a quiet sense of destiny filled the room. "It's a gate," one of the scientists said. "We think it's linked to the builders, the first humans." The gate shimmered. Faint lights glowed along its surface, forming patterns that matched the old symbols found in the ruins. Then, without warning, it activated. A swirling vortex formed inside the ring, blue and gold, pulsing like a heartbeat. And from that light came shapes, ships, massive, silent, and glowing faintly with the same symbols found in the ruins. They weren't modern human ships. They were ancient, yet they moved like ghosts through the stars, flawless, untouched by time. One of the Earth commanders whispered, "Those are ours?" "No," the ambassador replied, eyes wide. "Those are them, the ones who left. The first humans had returned." On the Solari ships, alarms blared. Their scanners couldn't get a read on the vessels. No energy signatures, no weapon locks. Yet the ships moved with precision, surrounding the Dominion fleet in silence. Panic spread. The Dominion commander ordered weapons ready. But before he could fire, every system on their ships shut down. Lights dimmed. Engines died. Comms went silent. One by one, the Dominion warships were disabled without a single shot fired. Then a voice filled every ship, speaking in a language that was not known, but somehow understood. "You have threatened our children. You forget who shaped the stars. We are the first flame." On Earth, every screen turned black. Then the same voice echoed again. "To the humans of now, we see you. You carry our blood, our spirit, our path. The fire lives in you." The world stood still. Children watched from classrooms. Miners paused, in tunnels. Soldiers stood in silence. All of Earth listened. The voice continued. "You were mocked, you were doubted, but the stars remember. And now, so shall they." In the council chambers across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. Dozens of species began asking themselves the same question. If Earth was the first, what else have we forgotten? But not everyone wanted peace. Far across the stars, another empire stirred, one that had once warred with the first humans long ago, and they had not forgotten. The forgotten enemy far beyond known space, in a corner of the galaxy marked as unstable zone on every map, something dark began to move. In a place where no ships dared travel and no signals ever returned, massive shapes drifted through the void. The Shadeborn had waited a long time. Once they had fought the first humans in a war that burned across galaxies. They were the only enemy the ancients had never truly defeated, only driven away, sealed behind energy walls and collapsed stars. And now, with the gate reopened, the signal had reached even them. The leader of the Shadeborn, a being of shadow, wrapped in armor like obsidian, spoke in a voice like metal grinding on stone. "They return. So must we." Their warships, dark and sharp like knives in space, began to power up, ancient engines flaring with black energy. They had not forgotten the flame that once scorched their empire. Now they would burn it in return. On Earth, the ambassador stood, with his team, watching a live feed from a scout drone that had entered the newly opened gate. What lay beyond was staggering. An entire sector of space filled with ruined cities, old outposts, and massive megastructures built by the first humans. "We thought they left the galaxy," one general whispered. "They didn't," the ambassador replied. "They just hid themselves. Or maybe they went silent, waiting for the right time to return." Inside one of the ancient stations, human scientists found something else. A record of the war. Images of the Shadeborn, of their twisted weapons, of battles that shattered stars, and a warning. If they return, do not face them alone. We failed to destroy them, but united, we can hold the flame. That message wasn't meant for the ancients. It was meant for modern humanity. At the council, the alien leaders were in chaos. The Dominion ships had been returned, silent and broken. They were allowed to limp back to their territory, humbled but alive. Some species now begged Earth for an alliance. Others, still prideful, warned against the rise of a new human empire. But Earth wasn't interested in ruling. They were preparing for war. The ancient human fleet hovered above Earth now, silent protectors. They didn't speak often, but when they did, their voice was clear. "This is your fight now. We are the past. You are the flame reborn." In secret chambers, humanity built weapons like none before. Using the knowledge from the ruins, their tech advanced by centuries in days. New ships, new defenses, new unity. For the first time in known galactic history, all of Earth stood together, not as a planet begging for a seat at the table, but as the first civilization rising to defend the stars, because something terrible was coming. And only the flame could stand against the dark. The flame reignited. The first attack came without warning. A deep space listening post near the edge of the Orion arm went dark. Then a mining colony on a nearby moon vanished, leaving behind only dust and static. Surveillance drones caught only glimpses. Black ships moving like smoke, cutting through fleets like paper. The Shadeborn had arrived. They didn't speak, didn't send demands, didn't offer peace. They had waited eons, and now they were here to finish what they started. But this time, humanity wasn't alone. Earth's new fleet, forged from ancient blueprints and powered by old knowledge mixed with modern tech, moved out. Sleek hulls with glowing patterns cut across space like silver blades. And with them came something more: hope. The ambassador, now wearing a dark blue command uniform marked with the symbol of the first flame, addressed the Galactic Council from the bridge of the lead warship. "We don't ask you to kneel," he said. "We don't ask you to follow, but if you want to live, fight with us." Surprisingly, many answered. Dozens of species sent ships. Not all, but enough. Old enemies became allies. Old rivals stood side by side. It wasn't a human war anymore. It was a battle for everyone. The final stand would take place near the gate, the very one the ancients had opened. The Shadeborn fleet approached like a wave of darkness. Thousands of ships, living shadows, but the humans stood firm. Behind them, the ancient vessels of the first ones, still silent, still watching, hovered like ghosts of history. The ambassador raised one hand. "Light the flame." And with that, Earth's fleet charged. The battle was not easy. Hundreds of ships were lost in the first hour. The Shadeborn tore through shields, corrupted systems, infected computers. But humans had one thing they never expected. Memory. Every tactic used by the Shadeborn had already been recorded in the ancients' data. Every move, every weakness. And now, humanity used it. The tide turned. The enemy began to fall. Then, from the gate, one final ship emerged. Larger than anything else. Built from stone, metal, and energy. The last of the first ones. It moved slowly, with purpose. A voice echoed across all frequencies. The first flame returns not to rule, but to protect. The great ship unleashed a wave of pure light, erasing hundreds of Shadeborn vessels in a single pulse. The rest tried to flee, they didn't make it. The galaxy had a new memory now. Not one of laughter or mockery, but of respect, fear, and awe. When the last shadow fell, silence returned. Humanity didn't celebrate with cheers or songs. They only looked up, into the stars. Because they knew now, they weren't just a new species. They were the first spark that once lit the stars, and now they had reignited the flame.